Hello friends, and welcome back to ReddX, your source for the freshest daily Reddit content. Today we are jumping right back into that old classic, that old reliable r/EntitledParents. You know what it do. Yesterday we talked about weeaboos, which are a bit more implosive. These entitled parents are a bit more explosive, so speaking generally, they're a bit more interesting. Let's see if that theory holds up as we jump into our very first story. Entitled parent meets a Queens neighborhood. So I get to pull out my New York accent for this? Great. So, funny story. Happened today. I have a piece of property in Queens, New York, and the hot water heater was leaking. Had to change it, etc., etc. Luckily, plumbing is my thing, so I went there with two guys to get it done. While they're working inside, I go outside to make some calls, and this kid, I know, mind you, he's 20, but seems like just a kid to me, is across the street, smoking a joint on his porch. Mind you, this is a good kid, a bit shy, but just nice, and would shovel everyone's driveway or walkway during the winter for 20 bucks, when a Karen and her kids stop in front of his house and start yelling at him. Karen: "What are you doing up there? That's disgusting, and you should be ashamed of yourself." 20-year-old: "Mind your business, lady, and keep moving." He said this politely enough, and I'm paraphrasing. Karen: "My kids have to play out here, and you're trying to turn them into drug addicts. I'm calling the cops." She pulls out her phone to call the cops, and I decide at this point to go across the street and intervene before the cops get involved. Weed is pretty much legal here. It would have at most been a $50 fine. OP: "Hey, what do you think you're doing to this nice lady? Are you smoking weed and not sharing, you selfish prick?" 20-year-old staring. OP: "Sorry. Here, take one of mine." Reaches into my pocket and pulls out half a joint I was saving for later. Fucking kids these days have no respect. Karen to me: "Are you kidding me? What the is wrong with you?" At this point, another neighbor who is watching this unfold, having a bit of a chuckle, steps in. Other neighbor: "Hey, Spottin', the fuck's all the yelling about?" OP: "The kid was token, and this lady wanted a pull, and he was being a selfish prick." Other neighbor: "What the f***? That's f***ed up, kid. I'm telling your mom when she gets home." "Sorry, lady. Let me go inside and get my bong for you. We don't tolerate that kind of behavior in this neighborhood." Karen: "You think this is funny? You guys are disgusting. I'm calling the police." At this point, she walks away, back to the homeland of Karens, never to be seen again, I hope. And the 20-year-old starts busting apart at the seams in laughter. Figured you guys would have a good chuckle at this, and since she tried to use her kids as an excuse to push other people around, I think it fits the sub. I don't know if I can really condone offering marijuana to somebody who's walking around with their kids, but she kinda did start it, so I don't know. It's not like the dude that was token offered it to the kids or anything like that. He's just chilling out, trying to enjoy himself, so what's wrong with that? Karen's the one that tried to step in, and she kinda got the snowball rolling, so I can't feel too bad for her. Honestly, she's probably never been high in her life. She's probably scared straight, you know what I mean? She watched some drug PSAs from the 1950s, and she's like, "Oh no, I'm gonna jump out a window and rape somebody." Not necessarily in that order. And offering to share your bong with a Karen? Oh god. That's a nice gesture, but I think it's a mistake, sir. She's gonna bogart that shit all day long, and I'm gonna sit there and be like, "Hey, Karen, it's a bong, not a microphone." I think we're about done here, so let's jump into the next story. Entitled mother thinks that we're going to make a special accommodation for her and her kids in the neurotrauma and burn ICU during COVID. Ends up with Child Protective Services called on her. Oh, don't spoil the ending. The nice happy ending. I am an intensive care unit registered nurse. A few nights ago, I was working our burn ward where this happened. Typically, pre-COVID, we allowed 3 visitors per patient between the hours of 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. During the worst of COVID, all visitors were restricted, all units, no exceptions. Now that things are lightening up, we're starting to allow visitors again, under certain conditions. 1 visitor per patient at a time, 18 plus only. All will be screened and made to wear N95 masks, and 2-hour visiting max. Pretty reasonable. Enter entitled mother. I'm taking care of her husband who was grilling when the propane tank exploded. Jesus. He's pretty burned up, but nowhere near life-threatening. He's awake, alert, talking, eating, etc. Not on death's door by any means. I get a call from this lady positively screeching that she's downstairs and the guest secretary wouldn't let her come visit her dying husband, and I'd better tell her that it's okay. After getting a few words in, I come to find out it's because she has children with her. I explain our policy and she loses it. Incoherent words are screamed at me, and I hung up. Giggled to myself that I am so glad she's downstairs and this is a locked unit, and it sucks to be that secretary right now. Well, in walks a super pissed off woman, escorted by security, alone, raging about how we need to let her kids up to see their dad because they haven't seen him in 3 days. She asks for the charge nurse after I tell her policy is policy. So, she's yelling at my charge for a solid 10 minutes when I go into this guy's room. He's embarrassed. He can hear her yelling from his room, and he apologizes for her. We chat for a bit, and I ask him about his kids and how old they are, etc. He tells me that they're boys, 3 and 6 years old. Lady is still with my charge nurse. It's been about 15 to 20 minutes that she's been on the unit now. Hasn't come to see her dying husband yet. My patient then said, "Wait, the kids aren't alone in the waiting room, are they? Uh-oh, I hope they haven't wrecked it." So I run and check. Nope, no kids to be found. Because of missing children, I consulted the house supervisor and we call a code pink, possible abducted or lost child. In the event of a code pink, no one goes in or out of the hospital and all entrances and exits are monitored. I go and tell my charge what's going on right in front of entitled mother. OP, the children can't be located in the waiting room, so we call the code pink. Me to entitled mother. We'll need the description of the kids and what they're wearing. Entitled mother. Well, of course they're not in the waiting room. The stupid secretary wouldn't let them up. They're out in the car. There's a pause. Charge nurse. Oh, are they with more family out there? Entitled mother. Charge. Ma'am, is there someone in the car with your children? Entitled mother. I need to go. Move. Let me out. She's trying to push around me to get to a staircase. OP. No. No one can leave during a code pink. You can't go anywhere. To make a long story short, the police were called. A report was filed. She wasn't arrested since the only other person to take the kids was in the hospital. We're mandated reporters and had to report to Child Protective Services. I feel so bad for the husband and those kids. God, this is just such a fascinating study into the mindset of a Karen, isn't it? Okay, she wants to go upstairs and see her dying husband. She finally gets upstairs, doesn't visit the dying husband, left the kids in the car. Like, I think she's maybe addicted to anger or conflict or something like that. The secretary just said, "Hey, you can't bring your kids in here," and she's like, "Oh, goody gumdrops. Now's my chance to cause my chaos for the day." It's seriously hard for me to imagine that there are people like this out there, but the proof is in the pudding, isn't it? What the hell is wrong with this lady? I think it's too bad that the husband got exploded by a propane tank, because he could probably do better. Actually, I take that all back. He could do better no matter if he's been exploded by a propane tank. You could do better than this, Karen, just by living by yourself. Take the kids and run. That's all I have to say. She's an unfit mother. She left the kids in the car to go yell at hospital staff. Like, what is wrong with you? Not quite as funny as our first story, but equally stupid. So let's jump into the third story and see how that stacks up. Entitled mother and entitled kid put everyone in danger for a video. Oh god, this is going to be one of those stupid social media things, isn't it? Hi, so this happened exactly 5 hours ago from the time of this post. This was while we were on a hiking trip in my country. Usually moral of the story comes at the end, but this is genuinely important, so I'll say it in the beginning. Always follow instructions when on a hike. Always. Especially when crossing difficult terrain. Background. Hikes are usually divided into tiers based on a person's endurance, speed, and capabilities. However, this hike had one level due to a shortage in people and guides, so my best friend and I were asked to assist given that we are regulars and advanced hikers. Now, we were walking quite the distance on a narrow path that forced everyone into a single line. The path is dirt and leaves with rocks scattered, and it was generally downwards, with scattered streams of water making certain sections of the trail muddy and slippery. Not a big issue for most of us, but we had two unruly new people with us, Entitled Mother and Entitled Kid. They complained about the mud, plants, insects, just about everything. We were tolerant, but that changed pretty quick. Why'd you go on a hike then, stupid? We reached a rather flimsy spot where the dirt is very slippery. Slipping and going off would not kill you, but it'd still be a painful trip to the operating room for sure. So me, my best friend, and the guide situated ourselves at the beginning, middle, and end of the drop respectively, to help people step across, mostly allowing them to stand on our feet or footholds that we made with our feet. Story. Cast. Entitled Mom, Entitled Kid, Guide, Best Friend, Girl Hiker 1, Girl Hiker 2, and me. OP. Okay, Girl Hiker 1, stand on my right foot and then grab Best Friend's hand. Best Friend and Guide give similar instructions, and we were in a position where Entitled Kid is next. I'm supporting Girl Hiker 2. Girl Hiker 1 is with the guide while Guy Hiker is helping them. Entitled Kid.
Mom, take a video of me doing this. I'm gonna sprint across.
OP. No, you won't. You'll stand on my right foot and reach to Best Friend and take his hand. Entitled Mom.
You can't tell my kid what to do. Go on, Chief.
Translated from my native language, it's a term that's similar to man of men, or that he's the strong man. OP. No ma'am. If you do this and he slips, we will all be in danger, and I might not even be able to catch him. Get the hell back. Entitled Kid runs a bit upwards and away from my reach, and within his third step he loses his footing and slips. Now he's between me and my best friend. While slipping, he grabs Girl Hiker 2's leg, pulling her down. My best friend grabs her arm and I grab her second one. OP. You Entitled Mom.
My baby! You bastards better not let my baby get hurt. Pull him up.
Best Friend. Bitch, he caused this. Entitled Mom.
You swine! My baby's more important than all of you. Get it back to me.
My friend is a devout Muslim, and the swine insult seemed targeted as that, as it's a completely uncommon insult. OP. Shut the hell up, you entitled donkey shit. Girl Hiker 2. Are you okay? It sounds more insulting in my language. Entitled donkey shit? Dude, I love foreign language stories that are translated. It's so much more interesting than the regular batch of insults, isn't it? Girl Hiker 2. I'm okay, but he's holding onto my leg and kicking. I can't get a foothold. By now, the entire group is looking in horror, and the mother is screaming like a banshee, while the guide grabs a rope and tosses it to the kid. Kid would not let go of the girl's leg, forcing me and Best Friend to start losing our footholds. Best Friend, you idiot! Grab the rope or we will all go down. Entitled Mom.
Don't you dare scream at him. This is all your fault. You and this trail. Only swine like you is an idiot.
OP. Will you shut the hell up already? Girl Hiker 2, I need to grab you by the shirt. Is that okay? Girl Hiker 2, yes, just get me out of here. I reached down, grabbed her by the shirt and undershirt, and pulled her up enough for my best friend to grab her bag and pull her up with me. We felt the dirt beneath us giving way. The dirt was slipping into the kid's eyes as it was tumbling down onto him. Ha ha. He began to flail and scream, causing the mother to start screaming as well. Entitled Mom.
Don't worry, baby. Hold on. You idiots are hurting him.
OP. Can you put a lid on it? God damn it. Entitled Mother.
How dare a piece of shit like you and the swine next to you?
Best Friend.
Talk to me and my baby like that.
The guide had moved himself a bit below my friend, and I had a strong foothold. The moment we pulled back up enough, he grabbed the entitled kid and pulled him up, allowing us to pull Girl Hiker 2 out and back onto my best friend. I lost a lot of my footing in hand to dig my hands into the dirt and spider move myself into a different position. Outcome! The entitled mom ran to the kid to check on him while cursing all of us, calling us idiots and irresponsible. Irony. She kept threatening to sue, calling my best friend swine and other explicit words. Now, what she forgot and did not account for is that both me and my best friend's mom are with us, and they saw all this go down. Best friend's sister even recorded everything. Oh, just like they wanted. Surprise cast, Mom and best friend's mom. Mom, our kids save your spoiled brat's ass. Not one more word out of you and it would Best friend's mom shoves entitled mom into a tree trunk. Best friend's mom, how dare you call my kid swine after he saved your kid's life, you racist entitled. I have half a mind to throw you off this ledge. Pieces of shit like you are what's the problem in this country. Say one more word about my kid. I dare you. Entitled mom and entitled kid visibly shrank as the entire group gathered around them yelling and blaming her and her kid for what they did. I and my best friend got to cleaning our boots and clothing from the dirt that slipped in. We brushed it off and continued the trail. Hiker girl 2 stuck around with my best friend. They joked, and he got her number as well. Woo-hoo! Entitled mom and entitled kid were noticeably silent, and the guide issued them a ban from our group and the other groups we usually collaborate with. There you have it, Reddit. My brush with a possible OR admission due to an entitled kid. Also, did I mention entitled kid was 29? Jesus Christ. What a twist, OP. Oh. My best friend and I are 22 and 23 respectively. Thought this would be a juicy last piece of info for y'all. That was the perfect twist. Well played. Edit. Morning, everyone. I literally fell asleep responding to comments. I guess I was more exhausted than I thought I was previously. Thank you, everyone, for your kind comments, upvotes, and awards. I'll respond to a few questions and comments as they seem to have been expressed by a majority of people. Where are you from, and what language was this conversation in? I'm from Lebanon and Lebanese Arabic dialect, which is why you can see a group of comments about guessing my location and dialect correctly, as those insults are pretty unique to Lebanon and Palestine. How can he be 29 and still be with his mom? This is not uncommon in Lebanon due to the financial situation and the role mothers play in Lebanese society. A lot of people have never grown out of their mother's circle, yet I have to admit that he was one of the worst cases that I've encountered. You write really well. Thank you. I've been a dungeon master for Dungeons & Dragons for the past 5 years, and I'm a published academic author with multidisciplinary papers trying to bridge the technical gap between electrical engineering and public policy design and formation. I like how he mentions that he's a dungeon master before academic. Priorities. This is fake and karma farming. Fair point. I posted about a dangerous situation, and naturally people would not think someone is dumb enough to put other people in such a situation. You can go through my profile and investigate all my stories and posts. You'll find my outlook and description of myself to be consistent. A 23-year-old master's student at one of the most prestigious universities in Lebanon, who just a few months ago was searching for hiking cameras to buy, and several hiking photos across my country. While this is not fake, I understand why you might think it is. Ooh, and he got the proof to back it up. Dang! I swear the entire time the story's going on, I had in my head that this kid was like 12. And at the point that you unveil that he's 29, I'm just like, dude, that's Darwinism at work. Just let him fall. Let nature take its course. This is what was meant to happen, okay? I'm also really curious why they would go out on a hiking trail if they're obviously not very suited for hiking at all. I mean, I get he said it was one group because of COVID or whatever, but then wouldn't you just go on, like, the easiest trail possible and not worry about all these, like, ledges and slippery slopes and whatnot? Just a little nice walk through the woods. I think that's about all that entitled mother and entitled kid could probably handle. Maybe not physically. Maybe physically they're in the best shape of their lives, but mentally, I'm surprised they could walk and chew gum at the same time. And I'm sure it was for some sort of social media post, like I said at the beginning. He's like, hey guys, watch this. I'm gonna put it on TikTok. Post yourself dying on TikTok. You'll never have gotten more views. I don't even use my TikTok account. I'll log in and like that Alright, we're running a little long here, but one more story and then I'm gonna get out of here. Boomer tries to steal my baby. Okay, Boomer. I'm a 20-year-old female with a 3-month-old son. We took our son to the park for the first time. They have swings good for little babies, so we had him in there. He absolutely loved it, by the way. There was an older lady there with 3 kids. I'm assuming they were her grandchildren because they were pretty young, and she seemed about my grandma's age. She was eyeing us up since the moment we got there. My fiance's a smoker, and he's not allowed anywhere near the baby while smoking, so he went to the baseball fields to sit and smoke. This is a decent ways away. Even though this is a very, very small town, I didn't know the woman, as we didn't live in the town that we are currently at. We live in the biggest town in that county, but apparently the county's park didn't even have swings, even though it's huge. What? Come on, OP, write your politicians, put them tax dollars to work. Anyways, I was very familiar with this town as I lived here for many years when I was younger, so he was fine leaving us alone, just not familiar enough to know the people anymore. My step-grandparents also lived here, so I felt comfortable. After my fiancé had went over to the ballpark, this lady approached me and began talking to me. She asked how I like babysitting. I laughed and told her that I wasn't babysitting. This was my son. This set her off. She grabbed a hold of my wrist and told me,
"Don't lie to her!"
that I'm too young for this to be my son and that she
doesn't believe me.
She told me that if I didn't produce valid forms of identification for both of us, then she would call the police for kidnapping. Jesus Christ. So here's the issue with that. I don't carry my wallet on me that often, and the only forms of identification I have for my son is his insurance card, as his birth certificate and social security card had not come in yet due to everything being bogged down from the virus. I told the lady that, and she turned her grip on my wrist, stating that,
"That's a lie, because they give you your documents at the hospital."
They don't. They do here. It escalated to the point where she shoves me down and tries to grab my son, stating that she'll be keeping a hold of him until the cops arrive. I quickly got up and grabbed my son from her. I didn't punch her, but I did sort of palm her nose, which I guess I did harder than I meant to, and she started bleeding. She yelled at me that she was going to press charges for assault. My fiancé was making his way back during this time and caught the tail end of the confrontation. Skipping ahead to when the cops show up, they're talking to each of us, but the old lady won't stop screeching, so they have to take her further away to talk. I am in complete fight mode and terrified. I'm frantically explaining that I don't have my ID, but this is my son. We just came here to the park to play. If there was any way I could prove I was the mother of my son, I showed the cop a photo of him getting pulled from me, C-section, and him on my chest a few hours later. Obviously he looks different now, but you can tell it's the same baby. We were allowed to go home, and were told that we'd be hearing from someone about the assault and charges against the woman. I'm aware that there's some context missing. I just really don't have time to sit down and write everything, so if there's any questions, I'll try and answer them to the best of my ability. What a cop-out. Update. We set an appointment with a lawyer for this Monday, and we'll be going to the police station later today. We called ahead and made an appointment for 3. It's noon currently. Someone had mentioned seeing if the park had cameras. I was pretty sure they didn't, as it's a very small area, but I called anyways, and it turns out they did. They agreed to send me a copy of the footage, but they only have a couple, so I'm not sure if what happened was caught on tape, as the cameras are near the pavilions and the swings are off to the side. I'd also like to add that I didn't expect this to blow up so much, and I'd like to thank everyone for their kind words and support. I know I should have reacted better, but I was just in such shock, and it happened so fast. I feel very guilty for not protecting my son, and I'd appreciate if the comments about me doing a job about it would stop, please. Welcome to the internet. Update 2. We went to a lawyer on Monday who instructed us not to really talk about the case going forward, but there will be charges pressed against the woman, and possibly against the police involved, as what they did during the situation was apparently very illegal. What? Hopefully this thing will move quickly and I can have an update soon. If not, I'll try to remember to update when everything's done. Oh, that's obviously not your son because your uterus is not f***ing shriveled up and useless like... like Boomer grandma over there. What a horrible, horrible woman. I think she's going through menopause. Probably that's what it is, you know? You get those hot flashes, you're out there in the heat, you know, at the park. You just lose your mind. I don't understand what the cops did that was illegal. Like, they let the son go when they were only shown a photo of him? Does the lawyer really want the police to take the child away and wait for documentation? Like, I don't understand that at all. Like OP said, she doesn't have time to tell the whole story, so what the f***? I guess I'm just gonna make up what happened. I got time to post about it, but I don't have time to post all about it. I think OP probably should have done a lot more than just palm her nose, but I do understand that the priority was getting your child back. And if the confrontation's already over when the husband got there, of course he's not going to punch anybody. But I wish that he would have seen the moment that the old lady snatched the baby from his wife, and he just like flung his cigarette to the ground, came charging out of left field like a rhinoceros, and just fucking spear tackled her. Like, boom! The back of her head hits the ground. Her brains are all over the place. Her 3 kids are like, oh no, Grandma! And then you take them out for ice cream at McDonald's, and they're like, she was a bitch anyways. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm kind of losing my mind at this point. The last thing I would like to state is that OP did in fact not do a shit job of protecting her child. Of course, people will say that because they're on the internet and it's easy to say anything, but she did what basically anybody probably would have done in the situation. I don't know how the lady got the baby in the first place, but you ended up getting it back, and that's the most important thing. Lord, what a handful of stories. But I hope that you guys did enjoy. If you did, I hope that you'll like, comment, and or subscribe. Please also check out the links in the description to Twitter, Discord, and Patreon. I'd like to thank my lovely, lovely patrons for helping me to live the dream. We've got Dot Nathan, Crimson Albedo, Damon Darkstar, Nico the Legend, Lady Nix, Radimus Cisco, and Mr. Weasel. Thank you guys so much for monetarily supporting the channel, and thank the rest of you for supporting me with the views and listening along with me today. I appreciate each and every one of you. I will see you in the next one. We're trying to get in the rhythm here, do a daily video, as it should be, so I'm not lying in the beginning when I'm like, freshest daily Reddit content. It ain't even been daily lately, Dayton. What's going on? I hope that you keep yourself safe out there. Wash your hands, for God's sake. And I'll see you in the next one. Until then, friends. Bye-bye.